watching Lifestyle Segments right here on The Weekend Show. And today we will be having a conversation around a menace that has affected lives, homes, and businesses across Nigeria. With a recent incident in Lagos and some part of Africa, which once again highlights the challenges of poor drainage system and climate changes. Today the conversation is about flooding and how we can curb the menace and also the roles we can play to enhance great livelihood in our society. I am Monday Thomas and I won't be doing this alone. Joining me is a considerable help of my co-host, Lucy. Lucy, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm well. Thank you so much.
It's great to have you. Please do us the honors to introduce our guests.
Of course. Today we are joined by Ekele Kelvin. He's the CEO and founder of the Ekele Kelvin Helping Heart Foundation. He's also a civil engineer and expert in road construction, so he'll be sharing his insights on the menace of flooding in Nigeria, particularly in Lagos State. So I'd like to hear your perspective. Who would you say is the primary cause of this incessant flooding that we are experiencing now?
Thank you, and it's a great honor to be here again. And I get to understand that flooding has been a major case in Nigeria. Lack of civil engineering, constructions of roads, good governmental maintenance. And if the people are not aware about the rain, the downpour of rain, I think it's a big issue for the society. Before this flooding in Lagos, I think information has been passed through that our drainages, our gutters, our places where these garbages and all these things are being stored need to be kept clean so that the flow can go well. But we get to understand that we are all Nigerians, you understand? It's hard for us to understand that information don't pass through unless when the incident happens, that's when notice can be taken. Because if you go to some other states like Kogi State and the rest like that, there was a time in Kogi, there was a real downpour that the governor of the state cannot even pass through the road. We all stuck in that road for more than 3 hours because the flow to the river was a big block for the citizen. If you stayed in Lagos, you know these things happen every year because the Lagos people are absent-minded. Everybody believes in them daily jobs, daily outcome, and daily things, but they don't care about their surroundings. And it's a major problem affecting Nigerians today. If you have a population of Lagos, people don't come out for weekend to do the cleaning, to pack out and do all of that. How would the river flow? So this downpour is a major problem in Nigeria and cure. You don't have to blame the government alone. Some other people have to take responsibilities for the things that is happening.
Talking about taking blames this morning, accountable and responsible for the society ecosystem. Now, my question is, how much of the flooding problem is caused by human activities or climate change?
I think the major case there, the human activities. The problem caused is majorly from the people, the citizen. You don't expect the government to leave his house to come and help you to do your drainages. You see somebody buying a land, covering the main access road where this flow was supposed to pass through. Is the major challenges in Nigeria. If you go to Lagos now, you hardly find a complete street. This one has bought the land, this one has bought the land. There is chaos, there is fight. This place is supposed to be a road where drainages, gutters, all these things can pass through, where there will be flow and consistent flow. Even the engineers coming towards the road as a civil engineer, coming to build a road or construct a road, drainages must be built too. You see some people want to fulfill their own righteousness from the government part. They will do the road but no drainages, no gutters. It's very bad.
So climate change doesn't play any role? It's human activities?
It's human activities because what we are talking about the climate change information is being passed through to everyone that in July or in May there was going to be a heavy downpour. You as a human being has to be prepared and you have to be watchful. But we don't care about those things, you understand? we are just Nigerians. That's what I believe.
Like there is a lot of changes, not just in Nigeria, even across the world. We've seen in recent times the earthquake in Venezuela, even in Europe and some parts of America. Temperatures are actually increasing. A lot of persons are in the streets.
Heat waves
in Europe and all of that. But we are also seeing our own share of the problem with the flooding. So I actually do believe that climate change has a role to play. But for other countries that build waterways, not just small drainages that we have here and there, would you not say that when government allocate road construction projects, like you do road construction, how much emphasis is given to make sure that there is a waterway without actually interfering, not just building the roads, but also creating waterways, not just small drainages in the street?
Government normally do these things to make sure these waterways come. But the citizen always go around, like my own area in Abuja. You find out that people wake up in the morning with a dustbin, just throw the dustbin inside the drainage where they're supposed to be passed. Later, when these things were blocked, you'll be calling on the government to come and see what you did. There is no road construction without a drainage. You understand? They'll do a drainage, they'll do a good gutters for us, you understand? But I normally blame, anytime you call me to blame, I normally put the blame on the citizen, because we know where these problems are coming from. You see somebody absent-minded, children, individuals, matured being human being, taking dustbin to cover where they are not supposed to cover. If you ask, they'll say the government has to come and do it for them. You can see the good road creating in Maraba Nyanyana. Some people are not really happy about it, but the government is trying to give out its best. You understand? And if you go there, even though they give you water or anything to take in that place because of the smell and some irrigations like that, you cannot even.
All right, Mr. Kelvin, this morning you've made us understand that for us to be able to reduce the impact of flooding in our society, the bulk of the work goes to the habitat of this particular environment. So my question is, okay, before I ask my question, there is this very famous quote that became famous just about a month ago by a basketballer. He said, "You are allowed to think about the worst case scenario, but do something about it," right? Climate change might come with lots of damages, and you know this beforehand because we have some people who are dedicating their lives to studying climate and making their predictions. And like you mentioned, these predictions, these messages, this information have been passed early, but quite unfortunate that we don't get to do anything about it. So this morning, I want everyone to understand that there is a role they have to play. Now, you this morning are not putting so much blame on the government. You're putting the bulk of the blame to the people who are living in these respective societies that floods are being affected. Now, this morning, please let me know, what percentage should be accrued to the people? Should it be 80 to the people and 20 to the government on what they need to do to curb the menace of flooding in our society?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I believe the thing has to be 50-50.
Or 50-50.
The 50-50 is good. One, the government has to provide maintenance on these drainages so that they will know that adequate work have been done. If you have opportunity to go to the Abuja Stadium, you find out that some things are not really going well there, you understand, because the drainages and everywhere are blocked, you understand. But the citizen, do well every weekend to engage yourself by coming out. I do that in my society, and people know me for that. The day I travel out or I'm not in town, the people miss me. Because I will knock at your door and say, come out, let's clean. Let's do something to make sure the environment is conducive for everybody staying in the society. This climate change we're talking about now, it might affect us. But before it comes, we are prepared.
We have to do something about it.
We have to do something about it. So, helping us to keep the society clean is human. The government cannot do all for you.
So like you say, you yourself, Mr. Kelvin, you go out every weekend to keep your
society clean because of my children and the e-health.
So
these things are smelling.
So we can say that the civil engineer on the show this morning is leading by example.
Thank you, sir.
So I mean, when I was growing up, I don't see that often in where I stay in Apo, and I think because people staying there, they're well-to-do people. They find your possible best to keep the place clean. So I don't get to see the government providing cleaners. I mean, don't you think the government have a role to bring back those cleaners that will keep the gutters clean, take out these rubbers that possibly blocks the drainage at the end of the day?
What you do for the government need to see you do before they act. You understand? The government will not just come and do job that they are not sent to do.
Exactly.
The people, the masses needs to complain and tender their complaints to the government. Like me now, if I volunteer in my society now, I want all of us to come out and clean. If I do not see you coming out, I charge you. The boys in the area noticed it, that if you come out to do this thing, if our boss is here doing it, then who are we? We all need to come out together and see how we can put these things together. As soon as you do it, the government notices where the loopholes are.
All right, so can we say that this morning government may not need to police everyone by telling them to keep their environment clean? Maybe a bit of policy change, a bit of fine in the society, maybe put some people in charge of the dumping and ensuring that people do not dump at a particular area, or people keep their places clean. Should there be some policy changes? What can residents do practically apart from keeping their society clean to stop the menace of flooding?
Well, there's a reservation, you understand? There's this place where everybody keep dump, and end of the day they end up burning it. Or if the government has this vehicle passing by, it helps us to park and go. You understand? The government play their own role. We as a human too try our best possible to play our own role.
You know, that actually reminds me of a situation. I don't know if you're familiar with the Cairo Essex. There's usually this point where there is a huge dump of refuse. I think where a lot of trucks and then there's just this site where they pour out all of those dirt, right? And then during the rains, all of those things flow into the drainage system, and most of these dump sites are actually controlled by the government, like where they send trucks to pick out refuse from the edge, and then they still go and dump them in the environment. So would you not say that government actually have more than 50% to play? Because I remember growing up, every Saturday was sanitation, or at the end of the month. And if you are out doing businesses as early as that sanitation period, you usually find. But I don't see such restrictions now. I don't know whether we have left those policies behind.
It was very strict.
Yes, it was very strict during sanitations, but we don't see those things anymore.
If you will say, permit me, I grew up in the barracks in Kaduna, and my dad is an army officer, retired. There is no weekend, you understand? These men will not come out, or women coming out to make sure their surrounding are all kept clean, you understand? This vehicle we are talking about government vehicle, if you engage somebody to do it, or the government sends somebody to do it, all they think about is their pockets. So you as an individual has to make provisions for yourselves, you understand? Because I can see that the government might empower somebody on that contract and say you are taking a particular role to take care of this environment. All you find out is that he's empowering his family with the money and doing something else, you understand? For you not to have problems with government, I'm not a politician. I've not been involved in one, you understand? For you not to have a role to play in these things, your surrounding needs to be kept clean, you understand? What we do in our own area now, permit me, we gather this dirty, we pour fuel on it, and we burn it. This is where we dump our refuge every weekend. This is how we burn it. But if you find out those government vehicles, some of them may get spoiled on the way with a bad odor. I even feel for those guys, me, I cannot walk there. There is no amount of money you give me, I'll follow that vehicle that's packing those dirties, you understand? Because a human being, you find out that some of them are taking alcohol, some of them are taking what they are not supposed to take. This is dirty from all sides. Sometimes when you are going on the way, the vehicle will get spoiled on the way. So you don't expect government to do all for you.
Okay. So what would you think? Do you think that Nigerians have to reorient themselves on waste management? Because there is, in Japan, where I read about, there is how they sort out trash. Like there's paper, there is Like they sort out trash. Like there is a particular way to sort out papers, you sort out plastics, you sort out bottles, so that you can recycle, so that you can recycle them.
Yes, you can
I don't
recycle
think
them.
we have such kinds of mindset here. We just see it as trash and not treasure.
Yeah, do we have a company that recycles refuge? Because if these people understand the economic value of the rubbers they throw into the gutters, of the bags they throw into the gutters, if they understand the recycling value of that, do we have any recycling
I
company?
think we have a recycling company.
Don't you think the government, it's now on the
The
government?
government did not empower them as it should, because I know a recycling company that started well, picking up this trash and the rest like this, but the empowerment was not enough. You understand? And what is killing us in Nigeria, let me just be frank with you, is greed. If greed could go out of us and our selfish rights could go out, and I believe you are my own, we are all together, Nigeria will move forward. Because if we are talking about the government empowering this recycling company now, one person, as soon as he has that check on him, is thinking about himself and his family.
But there could be accountability measures put in place to ensure.
These same people are like cabas, you understand?
Oh,
I give you your percent, and I go my way.
So does it mean that we are going to still talk about flooding?
The flooding in Nigeria in the next coming years, we'll be talking about flooding. You understand? In years to come, we'll be talking about flooding.
This conversation.
you don't need to end the conversation here.
Before I let you go, there's this question that have been all around social media. A lot of persons have been pointing fingers to the coastal highway that was constructed in Lagos as the primary cause of the flooding. So in your expertise as a road construction expert, do you agree that that highway is the primary cause of the flooding that you're experiencing now?
No. There are blockage that leads to the lagoons. You understand? This blockage, that highway has nothing to do with those blockage. If you've lived in Lagos, I've stayed in Lagos, I worked in Lagos, and I enjoyed Lagos. The only part any man will tell you that he don't want to stay in Lagos is because of the go-slow. You understand? But Lagos is a place where you like to bring up your children, do things, grow up, you understand? But the surrounding is not good for one to stay there. Like we're talking about this blockage now. If the lagoons can have, the lake and the rest can have channels where water passed, I don't think we'll have this challenge much as we are having now. Like I gave you a story earlier on this morning that I was going to Lokoja. Me and my governor was stuck on the road. He knows the problems of what is happening. It's the blockage.
All right, Mr. Kelvin, time is on our best of friends this morning.
Thank you, sir.
We've tried to possibly
touch the
You made a statement that flooding wouldn't go away in 50 years because of the cabal involving the recycling. People are just waiting to get their own share of the federal cake, and then off they go. It's very heartbreaking. Well, give us your final take as we look to wrap up.
My final take is that we can learn to help ourselves in the society. If you are staying in an environment and you know the people are less care about themselves, you try as much as possible to see what you can do to come out every weekend to see how this blockage, these small gutters that are blocked, we can see how we can pack our trash bin out of it.
So in a nutshell, we shouldn't wait for the president.
No, we should not wait for the president.
Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful conversation, gentlemen, and thank you so much to our guest, Ekele Kelvin, a civil engineer, for joining us in this conversation on the famous. It has been a great one.
It was insightful. Thank you so much.
All right.